TomoNews presents Terrible Decisions.
Not everyone's cut out for a leap of faith. A 21-year-old Californian was too busy heeding his spiritual calling to care that jumping off one of the tallest waterfalls in Hawaii is both dangerous and illegal. Daredevil Shiloh Shahan was at the top of Wailua Falls when he got it into his head that he just had to jump. YOLO, you know? It was against the rules to even be there, but Shahan made the leap anyway, because rules schmools. After plummeting nearly 200 feet, he hit the water feet first and was knocked unconscious. He probably would have had an even more spiritual journey if not for some tourists. A father and daughter dragged him back to shore where he quickly regained his wits. Shahan suffered a slight concussion and some torn muscles. Despite losing his memory for all of 5 minutes, he's still his senseless, idiotic self. Netizens have been ragging on him after the jump was posted to YouTube, but the millennial contends he was expressing his freedom and that it was the right thing to do. Grow up, kid. Cheap tourists nearly end up as tiger feed. 3 tourists almost landed in the tiger enclosure when they snuck into a zoo in southern China, all because they were trying to save the equivalent of $6 each on entry fees. CCTV footage captured these morons last Saturday as they scaled the fence at a drive-through wild animal park in Changsha, Hunan province. The 3 cheapskates must not have realized they were dicing with death. Because if they'd climbed the next fence, they'd either have been electrocuted or ended up as lunch for the zoo's 7 Bengal tigers. Now most visitors to the park opt for the conventional method of entry, by paying for a ticket on a sightseeing bus. When the bus comes through, the tigers are let out to feed, right into the area of where the 3 amigos snuck into. Luckily for the thick-headed trio, they were spotted by security guards who grabbed them and handed them over to the cops. Not only did these fools risk their own lives, but also those of the tigers, because if they had been attacked, who's to say the zoo staff wouldn't have killed the big cats?
A carnival game operator is under investigation after one customer blew his life savings on a game. Tubs of Fun is a carnival game where the player throws a ball into a plastic tub. Henry Gribbohm wanted to win an Xbox Kinect, but after multiple attempts, all he managed to do was waste $300. Determined to win his money back, Gribbohm went home to retrieve $2,300, all his remaining savings. Gribbohm returned to the carnival and, despite Sisyphean effort, lost his remaining cash. His consolation prize was a giant novelty banana, value $150. The game operator later returned $600 to Gribbohm, but police already opened a fraud investigation.
Human Ken doll gets detained in Dubai. Human Ken doll Rodrigo Alves had some trouble with Dubai immigration after his plastic features got called out by the facial recognition software. Body-obsessed Alves has been on a quest for plastic perfection. Over the years, he's blown over $500,000 to get nipped and tucked more than 50 times. With so much surgery in so little time, even his official documents can't keep up. So while jet-setting to Dubai recently, he got detained for looking nothing like his passport photo. He had to wait 3 hours before being let into the country, though apparently that's not the first time it's happened. Doctors have warned the 34-year-old not to get anything else fixed, but it seems Ken might be holding out for one last bang before he retires. Claiming he doesn't want to end up a saggy old man, Alves says he'll pull a Caitlyn Jenner and get a sex change in his 50s. So while his chicken and eggs are the only real part of him left, they need to go because Barbie's coming. Though really the more important concern is, what kind of Barbie will he be?
HIV-positive shoplifter scratches Walmart employee in an attempt to infect him. 25-year-old Diamond Lawrence was booked for shoplifting and trying to weaponize her HIV infection at, surprise, surprise, a Walmart in Dallas, Texas. Diamond barely made it out of the Forest Lane Walmart before an employee stopped her for trying to steal $11 worth of frozen dinners. When he brought her back inside, Diamond reportedly bragged about her power to infect anyone with HIV. The employee also noticed her medical ID bracelet before she suddenly struck him across the face and scratched his neck in a reported attempt to infect him with HIV. Lucky for the employee, that's not how it works. Diamond would have had to expose his blood to her blood for him to have been at risk. Walmart says they don't prosecute for inexpensive shoplifting, but Diamond was booked in the Dallas County Jail for outstanding arrest warrants for public drunkenness.
Brit denied entry into Thailand after using her passport as toilet paper. An apparently well-traveled British national says she was denied entry into Thailand last month after making what's probably the dumbest passport-related mistake we've ever heard of. Faye Wilson had been attempting to make her way to the Southeast Asian nation from Australia, but was stopped by immigration officials who were curious as to why her passport was missing several pages. The embarrassed 28-year-old hairdresser was refused entry into the country after lying to Thai authorities, telling them she'd lost the pages. Why lie? Well, because her actual excuse would have no doubt appeared piss poor. Wilson says that during a drunken night out a few years back, she found herself lacking toilet paper. So she reached for the only paper she had at the time, that is, that attached to her passport. Ripping out 2 to 3 pages saved her from any undue embarrassment that night, but it caused some serious problems down the road. Thai immigration officials sent her packing back to the UK via Dubai, presumably at some serious expense. The 28-year-old eventually made her way back to Thailand to reunite with the friend she so abruptly left behind, but she no doubt learned one hell of a lesson.
Idiot couple hides $16,000 in stove, surprised when it gets burned. Earlier this week in Hunan, China, a businessman and factory owner surnamed Wang got ready to pay his factory workers by withdrawing $16,000 in cash. But Wang and his wife were nervous about keeping that much cold, hard cash in their home, so after a lengthy debate about where to hide it, the couple decided that the seldomly used kitchen stove would be a good place to stash the money. Surely no thief would think to look in there. Unfortunately, Mrs. Wang suffers from short-term memory loss, and a while later she decided to fire up the stove and make some soup. While she was cooking, her husband came home from work and asked nervously if she'd remembered to take out the cash. When a horrified expression appeared on his wife's face, Mr. Wang threw open the stove door and rescued the charred remains of the cash. Mr. Wang has tried taking the cash back to the bank, but bank officials said that because the serial numbers were burned off, they would not be able to reissue the money. Looks like their lives just went up in smoke.
Dum-dums fool around with croc trap. Photos of 4 men messing around with a baited croc trap have surfaced online, and everyone's heads are reeling from the stupid. A 79-year-old woman got snatched by a 4.3-meter-long croc in the same area less than 2 weeks ago, which makes the foursome stunt even more dangerous and idiotic. Most people see a trap and take it as an indication that the water is unsafe and teeming with crocodiles. But not these fellas. We're not sure if they're dumb enough not to know what traps are for, or if they just didn't care. Either way, the 4 grinning morons played around with a baited trap like it was some sort of adult jungle gym, climbing on top and even going inside. Never mind that there was a big glaring warning sign. Though, really, let's see how macho these idiots would be in front of a big, hungry crocodile. Yeah, thought so. Australian authorities have yet to identify the men, but they stand to face fines of up to $15,000 if found and convicted of tampering with the traps. Let the manhunt begin.
Truck drivers play full contact game of chicken. Get a load of these Einsteins. A video clip uploaded on March 15th shows a pair of Indonesian truckers letting their emotions get the best of them when both refuse to give way on a narrow street in central Java. From local media reports that covered the snafu, it appears that each man wanted passage through the single lane, but neither would back up. As things became more and more heated, local residents stepped in to try to de-escalate the situation. They failed dismally. Impervious to reason, Mr. Black Truck decides to go full retard and use force. He rams Mr. Blue Truck repeatedly, eventually forcing his opponent off the road and onto the edge of a rice paddy. Police caught up with the driver shortly afterward and laid down the law. Note to all trucking companies out there: don't hire these men. Rude Texas dude sees Freeway marriage proposal backfire. Houston man Vidal Valaderas Navas' second date with Michelle Wyckoff was a motorcycle ride along Interstate 45. After that apparently very stimulating ride, things got serious. And so Novice, 24, knew exactly where he should make his proposal to 23-year-old Wyckoff on Sunday, on, in his words, one of the biggest and busiest freeways in the entire country. Enlisting the help of 4 friends, Novice made up some story that necessitated him driving Wyckoff along I-45. Then suddenly he stopped, in the middle of the Gulf Freeway. His friends stopped their cars and jumped out to film the proposal, something a man does only several times in his lifetime. Of course, this meant the entire freeway was blocked by these love hogs who brought this major Houston artery to a standstill. Drivers started honking like nuts, and they weren't exactly honking their congratulations. Michelle reportedly said yes that Sunday, but a whole bunch of other people said no, hell no. Irritated drivers were late, frustrated, and worried about safety. One blocked car was reportedly trying really hard to get to a hospital so a woman could have a baby. And so the internet tore these love morons a new one, with Redditors suggesting a GoFundMe page to sterilize the couple and expressing hopes they get run over, celebrating their anniversary on the freeway next year. Aw, sweet. Houston cops quite kindly offered their congratulations, but despite sincere apologies from Novice, they charged him with obstructing a freeway. When was the wedding scheduled for again? Does Texas allow conjugal visits?
Angry customers kidnap KFC delivery guy with chopstick. Police were called by a KFC manager to go rescue one of the company's delivery service staff. The manager had received a call from a pair of disgruntled customers who told him they were holding the KFC delivery guy hostage for 2 hours. Why 2 hours? Because the 2 customers claimed that was how long it took KFC to deliver their fried chicken. Police arrived at the residence and found one of the customers jabbing the delivery guy in the throat with a chopstick, threatening to puncture the guy's jugular. The 2 slightly inebriated customers explained to police they'd gone to KFC, but there was a long line of people, so they decided to order takeout. They'd started drinking and were pretty drunk by the time the delivery guy showed up. They were hungry and drunk and decided to take the delivery guy hostage as revenge. Police were finally able to talk the 2 into releasing the poor delivery guy and then charged the 2 with assault and attempted kidnapping. According to KFC's phone records, they'd received the order for takeout at 7:52 p.m. and the delivery guy was taken hostage around 8:15, which was when the second phone call had come in. That's only 23 minutes, well within KFC's promise to deliver within half an hour. So apparently, on top of being drunk, vengeful kidnappers, these 2 also have poor math skills and no sense of time.